Hi everyone, I'm very excited to make this video. It's like a brand new adventure for me, and I don't know whether it's going to be an adventure that's going to last a lifetime or it's going to be a quick and fleeting one. I don't know. Well, to start right out, I was trying to think of a title, and you can see the title I used was 2017, The Birth of Jazz, question mark. And why did I call it that? Well, because for me, I've never been a jazz fan, and at least I didn't think so until now. I have a certain kind of jazz music that I've started to enjoy, and at the present moment, it's really a new adventure, and it's really exhilarating finding something that you're excited about. That's a new experience for you, and I want to tell you how this came about. I want to show you a lot of jazz records, and when I say jazz, you'll see as I go along. I'm kind of taking that kind of with a grain of salt. Okay. Well, here's the story without too much further ado. It starts out where a day in my local record store where the young guy who's there, who I'm friendly with, his name is Corey. You may have seen him in a lot of videos where I go into the store. Corey actually is a big jazz fan. Even though he's in his 20s, he really has a lot of taste for older, kind of more sophisticated music like that. And he plays jazz music in the store all the time, and I'm there hanging out and listening. I've been doing this off and on with him for several years now, and it just never grabs me. Most of what he plays doesn't interest me, but every once in a while there's something that I do where I just randomly go into the jazz record section and I pick a record from the jazz section and I put it on the turntable and try to surprise him, and we play a game of Corey trying to guess who the artist is just by playing the record, and I see if I can stump him, and I never can stump him. He usually guesses it right away. Well, anyway, this particular time I picked this record just out of the blue. It's Wild About Harry James, and I don't think Corey right off the bat was really thinking too much about it or really paying much attention to it. He's kind of busy. But one thing I noticed is that this didn't sound like the jazz music that Corey usually plays. Corey usually plays Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, that kind of music. And I usually just don't gravitate towards that. But this I enjoyed. And I came to think of it as big band. It's, which it is, right? It's big band music. And I liked this. And I said, let me try a couple of the James albums. So I went around and I found a couple other Harry James albums and I played them. And they have a station over on the side, where turntable station where you can actually put the record on and wear headphones and listen for it. And I really enjoyed what I heard. So much so that I picked up a CD. This one here, Harry James and his orchestra, the Silver Collection. And this is about an hour's worth of music, or over an hour, and I played this in its entirety, by the way, I should mention, in my car during a long car ride, and I loved every minute of it. So I started thinking, I think I'm into Harry James, and I think I'm going to buy some records, because these records are cheap. They're not expensive, at least not where I get them. So that's what I was going to do. Well, that's the start of it, and this album just may, or may not, depending on how the future goes, be an important record that changed my life at this late stage of my life, because I suddenly liked the big band sound. And as I spoke to Corey, because Corey's very knowledgeable, we came to the idea that I actually like jazz music that's a different type. It's more big band, it's more loud and boisterous. It's more of a large ensemble of artists together playing a more structured kind of thing. I think the jazz music that I don't like so much is a smaller little group of musicians where they're playing kind of improv. They're just improvising. Now, I've since learned, I've done some research learning about jazz. You have to bear with me because I'm a novice at this. I've learned that all jazz is improv to a degree, but the ones that are more complex or more, you know, people just playing what they want is not for me, which is why I never really liked Corey's type of music, because his type of music is not mine. I'm going to be rambling on. Hopefully, this won't be too boring. Um, if I have to make a part two, I will. But I want to make it clear here at the beginning of this video that as I say, I'm just a beginner at this. I've never really been into this music before. I'm bound to make a lot of mistakes, but I'm learning as I go. Corey was able to help me pick out some things to listen to, and also there's one of the regular customers named Pat who came in, and Pat is very, very knowledgeable. His whole life is about this kind of music, and he made suggestions too. So between Corey and Pat, they helped me decide on some music, and one of the things they picked for me was this: the Genius Solo Flight, the Genius of Charlie Christian. You got to understand, I never heard of Charlie Christian before. A lot of you probably have. I was quick to learn that he died very young, and that but in that time though he was an electric guitarist in like 1940 or 41, which is pretty amazing. And we played this in the store, and I love this. This is a double record set, and he died much too young, but that's another story. I don't want to get into his personal life. But I realized I'd never heard of this person before, and I love this. So I'm going to start showing you the records. This is over a period of learning about this, and I didn't buy all these records just completely blindly. Some of them are complete blind buys, and just keeping my fingers crossed, and a lot of them I went over to the area with the headphones, and I liked what I heard, so I put it on the pile to buy. And also the recommendations by Corey and Pat here and there. And also we were played some of them. Corey put some of them on the turntable just throughout the store so we could hear it. And either it's just a moment thing, as I'm just getting into now, just for the fleeting moment. But for a while, I really was getting into this stuff. And this is Shorty Rogers. This is looks like it's an English album. It's a import. Shorty Rogers, Quartz, The Count. Okay. Which is this was very good. I played this. I also discovered that I liked Maynard Ferguson, and this album here, Around the Horn with Maynard Ferguson. Now, as I show these records, what I want you to take into mind is try to consider, those of you who are expert at this and know a lot more than I do, try to see the music here that I'm showing. Another one by Maynard Ferguson, New Sounds of Maynard Ferguson, and see where I'm going with this, because for a person like me who never really liked jazz music, I'm finding I like the big band sound, or the swinging sound, swing, big band. It's another Maynard Ferguson album. Boy with lots of brass. I like a lot of horns. I like a lot of structure. I like a more solid performance like that by a big ensemble. Why do you think it is that I'm getting into this? Ask yourselves the question. Why this, as opposed to jazz like I don't care for Dizzy Gillespie. As I say, don't care for John Coltrane. Don't call Charlie Parker or Miles Davis. Here's the Claire Fisher Big Band. Thesaurus. I sampled this and I liked it. Why am I gravitating to this? Is it a lot like my pop music taste, like the Beatles? And I like a lot of mainstream, more, I don't know, mainstream commercial hit music, popular music like that. And it seems like with the jazz, the same thing is happening. There's a whole bunch here to show. I was also recommended this one, Launching a New Band by Terry Gibbs. A lot of you out there will know these people and think I'm doing a great thing here. I also want to say, if any of you are not into this type of music, this may turn you people off a little bit, because it's not Beatles. Blue Pyramid with Johnny Hodges and Wild Bill Davis. This is all the kind of sound that I was enjoying. Isn't it? But like I say, isn't it interesting that for somebody like me, doesn't this music this taste of jazz music kind of match the way I am with pop music? Here's Jimmy McGriff, the big band. This is the music that I gravitate. I didn't even think that this stuff was jazz. I always thought, there's a difference. But when you look it up on the internet, read about it, and look at Wikipedia and things like that, jazz is hard to define, they say, because there's so many different genres of jazz, or so many different types of jazz. So I never thought that big band was also jazz. I thought they were two exclusive things. Now the guy Pat that was came into the store had told me to check this out: the music of New Orleans, the early stuff, music of the Eureka Brass Band, and I haven't played this yet, but I'm sure I'm going to like it. I should also mention that I like some Dixieland music. I like Dixieland jazz, and I like some ragtime. I like me some ragtime and Dixieland. Speaking of Dixieland, I think we got this one here, Hot Pennies, Red Nichols. This is kind of Dixie, I think, more or less. And then one of his albums that I picked up, like this one here, Red Nichols and the Five Pennies, Dixieland Dinner Dance. This one here is very Dixieland, and I enjoyed this as well. This one I haven't heard, but I was advised to pick it up. Supposedly it's a rare record you'll never see again. The big band sound of Al Raymond and his orchestra. And when I see the words big band, that's when I think I'm going to enjoy it. And this is something that I never knew that I liked, I'm just discovering, as I say, is this going to be something fleeting of the moment? It's been lasting a long time. It's off and on, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe this is for me. Count Basie and his orchestra. Not now, I'll tell you when. And I was also advised that the Roulette label is very good for Count Basie. Anything on Roulette is good to check out. And I'm looking very forward to people's advice and reactions here. Here's Terry Gibbs again. It's time we met Terry Gibbs. I'm sure I'm going to like that on the vibraphone that I'm playing. Here's another Count Basie album, which was very good. Music from the pen of Quincy Jones, One More Time. And we'll get to Quincy Jones in a second here. You see a lot of good records I picked up here. And, folks, like I say, I go full into something. When I like something, I go really heavily into it. Quincy Jones, The Birth of a Band. Now, this was a good record. I played this in the store, too. I really enjoyed the sound of this. The kind of the beginnings, I guess, of Quincy Jones, the young Quincy Jones. This was very good. Here's a clarinet player. Sounded awesome, which is a word I don't use very often. Edmund Hall, Rumpus on Rampart Street. I played this, and it was sensational. I love the sound of this. Sorry for the glare that's here. I'm also finding that I like stereo better. Usually I would go for mono instead of stereo with regular records like the Beatles or 60s music or something, or 50s music. But I'm realizing that, I don't know if you'd agree or not, you jazz fans out there, but for jazz, I think I prefer stereo because it's like you're kind of there in the audience, in the orchestra seating pit or something, and you hear some instruments come from one side, and then the other instruments come from the other side, like a band was all over the stage. And I think that's the way this music is meant to be heard, kind of like from ear to ear rather than straight on. Let me know what you think of that. Here's another Harry James, In a Relaxed Mood on MGM. I'm looking for Harry James. Harry James is going to have the distinction of being the first guy that really turned me on to the big band sound, really. And I'm going to be looking for as many of these records as I can find. Here's Harry James today. I haven't opened this yet. This one's still sealed. But, I'm going to check all of these out. I've played a lot of these already, some partial, I didn't have much time yet. Here's Maynard Ferguson again, The Blues Roar. Please, everybody, again, I encourage your suggestions and comments. By the way, I know a lot of people are going to say, how about Duke Ellington? I don't have any Duke Ellington here yet, and I will get to Duke Ellington. Here's Harry James again. Harry James and his swinging band. I love the word swinging, and, I think kind of like the stuff that I like. Not for sale, big band, brass, swinging. Those old words are kind of really getting me excited right now. And I don't know how this came over me, but it has. I'm going to show two more records, and then I'm going to be saying a few closing words here that I want you to listen to and hopefully we'll be able to come together on this. There's a whole bunch of these Glenn Miller collections here. By the way, I should mention I'm taking the price sticker off this. I got these all for a very low price. I mean, they were discounted. You would not believe the cheap price that I got all of these for, in a double-digit price for all these records. This is the complete Glenn Miller, Volume 2, 1939. I've heard that these Bluebird records are supposed to be really good for Glenn Miller. I picked this one because it has In the Mood, and In the Mood I really love from him, of course. And I'm going to get, eventually, if I like this, I figured it's the best one to pick. This one was only $1. This is Volume 6. It's 1940 and 1941 Glenn Miller and Bluebird. And I figured if I like these, there's a whole bunch of other ones. These are still sealed, by the way, that I can always tap into. Now, just to finish up here and keep this no longer than 20 minutes, which is really a pretty tough thing to accomplish. I have more of these. I'll call them jazz records. You let me know if that's right. Big band, swing, jazz era records that I have back in the store for me that are, I'm going to pick up another time. I mean, I can only do a little at a time right now. I got enough to play here, and I'm really going to try. I can't remember the last time I ever bought new music and wanted to actually play the music. Usually you buy music, even if it's new, and you sit on it for a while, and then you get to it. This I really want to play, and I've already played a bunch of these since I've been home. I'm just really excited about it. Now, like I said, I welcome your comments. I think what I'm going to do is, if this becomes a regular thing, that I continue this passion that I've gained here, and if I continue to find jazz-type records, big band records, swinging records, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do separate videos for those. I'm not going to put them with my regular vinyl finds, I don't think. I'll call them jazz finds, or whatever term I want to use, big band finds, or whatever I'm going to use from now on for those. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to put them in with the vinyl finds of all kinds, or the Beatle finds. Those are going to be two separate topics. So that way, I think it'll also be easy for those of you out there who couldn't care less about this kind of music, which I couldn't for most of my life until now. Maybe it's because I'm getting older that I'm appreciating it more. For you people, you'll be able to distinguish the videos and just ignore them if you like, and maybe these videos will bring new people in that are interested only in the jazz or big band era type of music. As I say, I'm learning here as I go. I think I've already learned a lot, even in a day, but I'm always anxious in reading more about this. I can't remember the last time I got so into something different, and so excited by it too. And it just came out of nowhere, just by me randomly picking a Harry James record, Wild About Harry, and putting that on for Corey to see if he could tell what record it was. And I wound up liking it probably more than him and saying, hey, this is all right, So it's one of those good fortunes, and again, hopefully it's going to last more than just a lunchtime with me. So thanks everybody for watching. Please give me your comments. Let me know what you think, and recommendations and all that. And yes, I will get to Duke Ellington too, so just so you know. Thank you.